right, you're welcome back, and you're watching Safia Breakfast Show. Let's tilt to the developing matters. As usual on Friday, Bunmi Anani joins us to tell us more on what she does and what a real teacher is supposed to be and mean like. Brenda, you have the clue.
Yeah, in continuation to what you've done and you're doing, Education State will be looking at the extracurricular activities and how they present an opportunity to enhance learning and build characters of students. Before we dive into this new series of education, I want you to do a quick rundown for those who may have missed out on what we had last week.
Last week we talked about the need for parents to collaborate with the school authorities and teachers in the overall education of their children. That it's really vital for parents not to sit at the background, just to pay the students' school fees, but more than that, beyond that, they should take an active interest in their children's schoolwork. And how do they do that? First of all, they need to attend academic open days and not leave it to a representative of the family to do that for them. They should create a relationship with the teacher, because once they create a relationship with the teacher, like I said last week, the parent is an expert on the child, while the teacher is an expert on education. Now, when the two people, the parent and the teacher, come together, they form a team, a strong team. It will have an impact on the child's academic performance and discipline, because the child knows fully well that the teacher and the parent have a bond and will not want to misbehave. And these are one of the things that we need to build the quality of education in Nigeria.
Interesting, beautiful review, and I am very sure somebody out there must have picked on what you just said. Speaking to what we have today, we're talking about extracurricular activities and how they can present an opportunity to enhance learning and build character for students. How did you come about this?
I came about this because it's one of extracurricular activities, co-curricular activities. They are a part of education that is really dear to my heart, because I am a beneficiary of the impact of extracurricular activities in my own developmental process. And as a teacher, I've come to realize that we pay lip service to this all vital, very, very vital aspect of a child's overall development. Parents do not really understand the importance. As far as they know, it's just a way of wasting time. They place too much priority on mathematics, on English, not knowing that education has evolved. Education has gone beyond certificate. It has gone beyond you having straight A's. As good as that is, what are straight A's to a student when he or she lacks confidence, lacks self-esteem, and has not discovered himself or herself? So there is need for balance. So the need for us to create awareness on the importance of activities that are related to the curriculum and activities that may not be related to the curriculum but are essential to the holistic development of a child. The need for us to create that awareness so that we can all benefit is what has inspired me to talk about it today.
That means it kind of have the ability to reshaping the mindset of the student.
Most
extracurricular activities.
Yes.
And when there is a connection between the student and his environment, because most of the while we're growing up, we used to have what we call PE. I don't know that they still do it now.
Sure.
And whenever the time was announced for PE, you could see that like excitement, that fun. And so what does it do to the mindset or to the psyche of the student?
Thank you. Now, what this does to the psyche of the student is this: the student is able to reason for himself. For instance, imagine we having a philosophy club in the school. It will help the child not to just regurgitate facts, but it will help the child to think outside the box, to become critical and learn to question the status quo. We tell the child that, okay, whether the earth is round or spherical, okay, fine, we tell the child about the precipitation process, that is water cycle. When that child attains or even questions on life itself, life processes. In a philosophy club, for example, the child will learn to sit down and question some things. How does that affect the child? It begins to become more aware of the things around him. It begins to develop a mindset of his own, not necessarily a mindset that is imposed on him because he needs to pass an examination. So the child grows up having a will, having an opinion, having an exploratory mindset that would even help that child to be able to create new ideas that could be beneficial to his own environment.
But we are in a world where we see parents being impulsive on their words, talking about, this is what I want you to do, or this is how I want your future to look like. What does that really do to the future, or to the psyche, and also the mentality of the child?
Thank you. The thing is, our parents, I don't know, yes, it's actually understandable when parents tend to impose on the children, because these days you realize that there are some careers, there are some professional paths, career paths that are more financially, beneficial.
But the IQ of the children, the child should determine some of it.
That is the problem, and we need the place of collaborating with parents is still essential. Because if we don't collaborate with parents, and if parents are not willing to collaborate with the school, the child would be a victim. We have seen occasions whereby, I heard of a story, I'm sure you're familiar with the story, a guy goes to the university, upon graduation, he comes out with a very good grade, but when he was asked to give a speech, with tears in his eyes, he says that, well, this is not his passion, this is not what he wants to do, but he has done this to please his father. Dad, can you have the certificate? And now that I've pleased you, can I pursue my own passion? And interestingly, these are things that happen around us all the time. I know of someone who is not science inclined at all, but he is excellent when it comes to the arts. Now he is pushed because he wants to please his family. He's from an elitist background.
And
he wants to please them. He has to do extra work, and this frustrated him at the end of the day.
Perhaps he was not even wired to fit
he was not
into that
even
feeling.
wired to fit into that area at all. Parents need to understand one thing. Every child has his path.
All right, let's speak to this very well. So many parents do not associate co-curricular programs with academic excellence. We see them actually taking a turn. I don't want you to do that. When you're in school, you're there to study.
That's true.
When you're in school, you need to concentrate. When you're in school, they'll give you all of this, and at the end of the day, you come back home looking like a used bag. How do we begin to put this together and making the parents also understand that co-curricular activity or programs are good in also expanding the psyche of the children?
Now, this is a very good forum. Yes, because I'm sure a lot of parents are listening to us right now. And one of the purposes why we come together to talk about it is to change the orientation of parents. Now, any parent listening to us right now should realize that your child is just in your custody. Yes, you guide the child. We teachers are there to guide the child. But again, we need to help that child form his personality or her personality. And if we are imposing and restricting that child only to academic work, we are not helping that child realize his full potential. We are not helping that child to become self-aware, and that is going to tell on the child's development in the future. It may not be now. For example, we see some parents who say, my child does not talk, he's too introverted. Why did you expose that child? And then you said, my child does not have friends. Oh, why did you allow that child mingle with other students?
That's what I wanted to ask now. Peer group mechanism, how does that also help when it comes to extracurricular activities?
For instance, when a child joins club, a public speaking club, for example, the Based Society, Jets Club, that child has the opportunity of mingling with other people and understanding that, people are different beyond the classroom. In the classroom, there is a way a child would be by him or herself, especially if he realizes that he doesn't have that intelligence to cope in the classroom. But while there, he will just realize that, this is my talent, because definitely when it comes to co-curricular activities, a child is allowed to choose his area of interest. Now, when the child is there and people realize that, she's a good speaker, he draws well, she can actually give brilliant ideas, what happens? It helps the child open up, and the other students are attracted to the child, and this helps socialization, this helps friendship, and this builds self-esteem. And interestingly, by the time the child realizes that, you mean I have this in me, that confidence now spills over to his academic work. He becomes to challenge himself.
Let's do parents a favor this morning by mentioning some of those co-curricular programs that are there in our schools that children should take part and also get to understand how it works according to educational improvement. So what are some of those programs that we talk about?
All right. First of all, we need to know that there are co-curricular and extracurricular.
Yeah.
Now, co-curricular activities are those learning programs that are complementary to the provisions of the curriculum. That is the learning experiences that children are expected to have acquired or to acquire within a specific period of time. Now, these co-curricular activities, like I said, they are complementary to the provisions of the curriculum. For instance, on management class, the teacher could ask the students to make homemade soap. That is an activity. That's a co-curricular activity. Fine, ask class, okay class, we're going to be making mugs this morning or today or on Saturday. That is an example. Okay, fine, we're taking literature today. You're going to play the role of the role of Macbeth. Or civic education class, you're going to act like President Buhari. Now, these are activities that take place within the classroom, but they are co-curricular, they are complementary. Now, talking about the extracurricular, we're talking about being a member of the sports committee, the sports team of the school. We're talking about being an editor, a student editor on the school magazine. We're talking about you writing articles, submitting articles to a newspaper like Scope, the Scope newspaper in Adamawa State. We're talking about you being a part of the public speaking club and of Jets Club. These are extracurricular activities that are not going to be graded. Now, I think the reason why parents do not support it is because they feel, oh, it's not going to add anything to your grade.
It's taking the time of the time from studying.
But they do not realize that is the reason why we need balance. When the child is guided by both the teacher and the parent, they steer the child
because
in the direction.
I've seen some children where they give themselves so much to their study and education,
and they don't have social life.
Yeah, very good. So much so that their lives become a straight jacket and it becomes so mechanical.
They cannot relate.
They cannot relate.
They don't have social skills. They don't even reason critically. It is what the
it's about the book.
It's just about the book. They are not creative.
And
they are not creative. A lot of them cram. So they cannot even function outside the textbook. That is the problem. And so many of them, that is why when it comes to the job market, they find it difficult. Now, a lot of them would also want to travel abroad, and there are Ivy League schools these days who require at least 30% of leadership skills and also co-curricular activities. So those children, they now have to depend solely on high grades when there are other smart ways of gaining scholarships or admission into very good schools. So the orientation, the psyche, our way of raising has to change. Let us balance the equation. Academic here, and then we talk about building this life, the child's social skills, because in the society we live in today, people don't really care. Yes, it's important for you to know what you want to offer, but how do you go about offering it? If I know the content, but I don't know how to relate to the people that need the content, what use is it?
So how do we begin to promote this in our schools today?
We've started in our school sensitization. For example, anybody who is watching me right now, or even we ourselves, we could begin to go to schools one after the other. Thank God, even in our curriculum, the NERDC curriculum, the entrepreneurship and trade subjects are there. Teachers should actively, do something about introducing extra activities that will complement what they do in the classroom. A lot of teachers don't do this for several factors. For instance, no finance.
Maybe next week we'll pick up this.
Yes, we still really, we still really need to do a whole lot in regards to all of this. Well, thank you very much for your time on the program this morning. Thank you for coming. Yes. And thank you for a good introduction.
Oh, thank you.
That was our conversation with Bunmi Anani. She's an educationalist. She talked about something interesting. By next week, I want you to glue yourself to our TV set as we talk some more in regards to the extracurricular programs that you need to know. We're going to break. When we come back, there's still something special for you on Safia Breakfast Show. Don't go nowhere.
Tori, tori, oh. Tori, oh. Real shit. Seinaga ya muku. Mizanga ya muku. Seinaga ya